Big-time producer Peter Guber and Variety's Peter Bart talk to the biggest names in the business. The AMC original series, Sunday Morning Shootout, next.
Hello, I'm Peter Guber.
And I'm Peter Bart, and this is Shootout. Pete, so I went to the usual moviegoers experience this weekend, and here was the scene. 6 people in the audience, sound leaking from the auditorium next door, flickering image, you know, all the things we hold dear. You realize to be a dedicated filmgoer does take a degree of intense love.
This time of year for sure, but there are certainly enough pictures around to choose from. You didn't have to go to Birth of a Nation.
I didn't go to Birth. I went to a hot new picture. That was the unfortunate part of it. But some of the new pictures aren't that hot, as you know, because there are too many of them. I mean, in December, you have 7, 8 pictures opening against each other every bloody weekend. And some major clashes. I mean, I took note. December 8th, Apocalypto against Blood Diamond against The Holiday. And then, Pete, the following week, you have Dreamgirls bumping into the Will Smith picture, Pursuit of Happiness. And even mention the art pictures that are also in play.
One of the challenges of developing an Academy campaign is that you're really talking about it a year in advance. When you decide to make a film that you're going to release in the 4th quarter or late in the 4th quarter, say just before Thanksgiving through to Christmas, you have to be aiming that perfectly because you're comparing yourself to all the other films exactly at the same time. You know, and comparisons are odious, and you have to depend really on the critics. If you look back at Crash, if they had opened Crash in November or December, it would have failed. The reviews, the New York Times and the LA Times were not good at all. Right. But they had time to build an audience awareness, to have the audience embrace it, and then the critics and the kudos come back to it by seeing the news stories about the picture. And now if you look at Fox's strategy with Little Miss Sunshine, a very early screener going out, you know, promoting the film pre its DVD release so that it can be in the ether for the audience.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of a cool strategy. Open earlier in the year, all of a sudden, magically, the DVD and all the campaigns come to the fore now, just when voters are trying to remember what the hell they saw that appealed to them. You know, it's a very, very smart strategy.
It isn't just the release date. It's creating what I call the magic momentum. It's the release date, yes. It's the notices, yes. It's the campaign, yes. It's a star that makes the picture shine, yes. It's the media, yes. All of those things, including the box office, combined. Nobody really knows exactly what the alchemy is, but we know it when we see it.
Okay, Pete. Now, what would happen if we talked to an expert witness on this subject?
Erwin Winkler is a pal of both of ours. A prodigious producer with the credits that range from They Shoot Horses to Goodfellas to Raging Bull and, of course, Rocky.
But who would have thought there'd be 6 Rockies over 30 years grossing $500 million?
Erwin did.
He did. So let's have him join us.
Great. Hello, friend.
Hello, Erwin. So here we are.
So here we are, and here you are with 2 films coming out really within a week of each other. You have your film on the 15th, and I think 22nd or 23rd
is Rocky Balboa.
Rocky Balboa, which is the, now I get this number right, the 5th or the 6th?
6th.
Right.
Film. So does that concern you that they're coming out right around the same time?
I think, I would love to take all the credit in the world for Rocky Balboa, but I'd rather give the credit to the producers, which are Billy Chardoff, David Winkler, and Charles Winkler. They actually produced the film. I think it's going to have a mass appeal. I think Home of the Brave is a much more special film. And by the time it gets, you know, a wide release, Rocky will probably be in the last throes of its run.
Did you ever think 30 years ago that there would be a geriatric Rocky?
30 years ago, I didn't think there'd be a first Rocky.
Right.
I mean, nobody wanted to make it. It was a put picture. We had to fight like the devil to get it made.
You had to mortgage your house.
Yeah, mortgage our house because we had to put a completion on the film. because they didn't believe we could make it for that price. And no, I didn't think we'd make the first one so hardly. Did I think we'd make a sixth one? No way.
But does the sixth one with MGM give you any leverage with that company vis-a-vis Home of the Brave?
I will tell you, the leverage we had, a wonderful film was made because of Rocky. That's probably one of the most memorable films in modern film history, and that's Raging Bull. Right. We would not make Rocky II unless UA made Raging Bull. So there's a great payoff. Whether it helps on Rocky, helps towards Home of the Brave, I don't think so. I think they're two separate entities.
But when you're coming out on December 15th, what are the challenges of coming out late like that in the year?
Or is it an advantage? I mean, arguably, it's a good thing to come out.
He thinks it's an advantage. I think it's more difficult.
Why do you think it's more difficult?
It's a very crowded period. To try to get air, try to get space around the film, it's pretty difficult.
But, you know, the truth of the matter is that serious films come out late in the year, and people expect serious films to come out that time of the year. We're going to go wide January 5th. We open in just New York and L.A. on December 15th. And the idea is to really capture an adult audience, which is more likely to go out in this period than they would be in the summer or even in the spring. So, yes, it's very crowded, and you have to fight for attention, and you have to hope that the critics are going to like your film, because you are appealing to an adult audience, and they usually pay attention to the critics. So, but what else can you do? You know, there is no free lunch in the movie business.
But this picture is about a very provocative subject. It is about returning veterans from Iraq, and it's certainly the most vivid depiction of this situation that any film has tackled. So
but it's in the tradition of Best Years of Our Lives and Coming Home and Deer Hunter. It does follow a tradition of America at War and the aftermath. I mean, those were wonderful films too. Did you draw upon them?
You know, The Best Years of Our Lives is one of the great films, and one I've admired all my life, and it certainly has an influence on what I did. But the truth of the matter is, I wanted very much to show, which they didn't do in The Best Years of Our Lives, is show a big war scene. So our film opens in a big action sequence where you see what these soldiers go through. The fact that they go through a town on a mission and have no idea what's going to happen to them. I try to recreate that, because when you see some of this stuff on television, you don't know who the people are and what they're about. I try to give that the emphasis in the picture. And of course, as Peter said, and as you know, this is more a story about what happens to the soldiers when they come back, when they're returned to civilian life, and how they deal with their jobs, with their families, with their loved ones.
And it has a very tough ending, which The Best Years of Our Lives sugarcoats a little bit. I mean, that was more of a traditional Sam Goldwyn Hollywood picture. Your ending is tough, and I ain't going to say what it is.
Okay.
Look, great good luck. We're rooting for you. And I know that you're a better filmmaker than a tennis player, because I know your tennis playing up close.
I always thought my tennis was pretty good.
When we come back, we'll be joined by Kate Winslet.
I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary to get an Academy Award nomination. It's such a gift. And the thing I don't like is that it's a very long ceremony, and I always need to pee. And I always feel like I'm going to go at the wrong moment and I'm going to miss something fabulous. And so I just sit there kind of dying for a pee.
The most riveting film of the year is coming to DVD.
My name is Winslet. I'm running for governor.
A brilliant cast, Oscar-worthy in every way.
They want to ruin you, and I won't let them!
All the King's Men on special edition DVD December 19th.
Y'all ready to order? And y'all ready to check me out in the amazing picture clarity of DirecTV HD? It's broadcast in 1080i. I totally don't know what that means, but I want it.
For the best in HD, get DirecTV.
Ordinary candles can look too much alike. Now enjoy your favorite holiday scent and a whole new sense of style with new Glade Trio scented oil candles. Create a festive centerpiece, line them up, or just use one to accent your decorations. Trio's warming plate melts the candle into a pool of scented oil, quickly filling the whole room with fragrance. This holiday season, give a gift with a whole new sense of style. New Glade Trio scented oil candles. Now available in apple cinnamon and French vanilla fragrance refills.
And Ferguson on the 17th. Oh, that's trouble. Papá, la par, mira.
Un poquito más a la derecha.
Increíble.
He's looking right at it. It's there.
Nothing is lost with the full HD 1080p Aquas from the leading innovator of liquid crystal television, Sharp.
If you've had a heart attack that reduced how well your heart pumps, your heart medications may not be enough protection. Adding Coreg to your current treatment can help prevent another heart attack. Coreg reduces your heart's workload to help it pump better. Coreg is FDA approved to increase your chances of survival when taken over time.
Coreg is not for everyone, including people prone to asthma, certain heart rhythm problems, slow heart rate, or liver problems. Once you start Coreg, you should continue as directed by your doctor. Patients who abruptly stop therapy may experience chest pain or an increased risk of heart attack. In some cases, patients may experience dizziness or faintness when starting Coreg. You should avoid driving or hazardous tasks if this occurs.
Ask your doctor if Coreg is right for you. Adding Coreg adds cardio protection.
I also wrote one that sounds like you.
You did?
Iris, if you were a melody. I used only the good notes.
Kate Winslet, a relatively new career, an amazing body of work.
Awards, nominations, kudos, critics' favorite. She's a superstar. Let's welcome her.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Hi. So, to say the obvious, which I am wont to do, 4 pictures coming out pretty close together. You know, you always wonder, I've asked you this question, how the hell do you select your projects? And you could never give me a good answer.
That's an interesting point. In other words, even though they were made at little different times, do you manage your career by saying, gee, I don't want 4 projects that I have to promote come out together?
I tell you something, as an actor, you have absolutely no control or notion of when these things are going to be released. You know, that's just the studio's prerogative. They just do it when they decide the timing is right or whatever, and I really know nothing about that process. And actually, I'm at great pains to make sure that I don't get involved with that side of it, just because that's not my job. It's somebody else's job, and also I don't ever want my focus to be taken away from what my job is. So I just don't get involved.
Stay away from the process because it's chaotic and makes no goddamn sense at all. The more you learn about it, the less sense it makes.
But, you know,
well, you were talking before. I was just watching, you know, about the timing of things, and the releases of movies, and nominations, and the voting, and I just thought, God, I really don't know anything about this. And maybe it sort of made me panic. I thought, God, maybe I should.
No, but
it made
the
me feel
client,
really
but you have an agent and a manager. They should know that. They should be looking at. Don't you reflect at the end and say, how did it come that 4 would come within 100 days of each other? Did you ever ask your manager or your agent that?
No, I mean, actually, I don't have a manager. I just have my agent. But no, you don't. I mean, you just have literally no say or control, or it just has nothing to do with the actors at that point at all.
The 4 pictures represent 3 years of work, really.
It's true.
It's misleading.
Do you know what, though? It's absolutely true, because this this time is so busy with all these things that are coming out that I've been involved with, but it is work that I've done since my son was born, and he's nearly 3.
Pete, do you remember when Jude Law came on the show once, and Jude turned to us, you made a couple of pictures with Jude, and he said to us, I've got 5 pictures coming out. How did this happen to me?
He had 6. He had 6. Yeah, he did.
Well, in the case of Jude, I think it hurt him a bit to have that many. Too many people were focused on the fact that he had, as you say, 6 pictures coming out. And they kind of bumped into each other, and you remember there was even a joke during the Academy Awards. He's a great guy. I felt bad that happened to him, but again, he didn't control it.
I was working with Jude at the time. That wasn't a good moment. Also, it was a very unfair joke, because Jude is one of my country's, you know, most gifted exports, and he's a wonderful, wonderful person. He's deeply professional and also incredibly funny. It's one of the things that not many people would know about him. He's a rip-roaring laugh.
2 of the pictures, they're certainly contrasting, because the holiday It's a romantic comedy, really.
Yes, it is a romantic comedy, yes.
And a departure somewhat from you.
Do you know what? I've said this, and people look at me like I'm crazy, like, what do you mean? You're playing an English girl. But it is. I've never played a contemporary English woman in a movie ever. So it really was a challenge. I'd never been faced with that. I'd never been confronted with, you know, guess what? You can't have a wig and you can't have a dialect, so there's nothing to hide behind. It was like, great, okay, now I just have to look good in these jeans and these, you know, ballet pumps. It was sort of, oh, God. But, you know, I also, at the same time, very much wanted to be involved with that piece because the script was just so good. I mean, Nancy Meyers, that's the thing that she does so brilliantly, is she writes romantic comedies with wonderful, relatable to characters, but in such an intelligent way. And so the script was just great. And it was one of those moments I thought, well, I love this script. I love this part.
Nice.
So yeah, it really, and it's great, the film. I've seen it. It's really, really great.
You have had the, you know, good fortune to be Oscar nominee. What is it about the Oscars that you like the most and like the least?
The thing I like the most, it's so incredible. I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary to get an Academy Award nomination for a performance that some body of people thought was great. I mean, talk about make you feel good about what you do. I remember watching the Academy Awards when I was very, very young. Whoopi Goldberg was hosting, and I just thought, God, I wonder what it's really like to be in that room. And just that feeling of, I've been there, I've experienced that. It's just wonderful. It's such a gift. And the thing I don't like is that it's a very, very long ceremony, and I always need to pee. And I always feel like I'm going to go at the wrong moment and I'm going to miss somebody fabulous, you know, win. You know, somebody I really want to win. I don't want to miss it. So I just sit there kind of dying for a pee.
We have exclusive interviews with Hollywood's biggest stars. Go back to school with Jennifer Aniston on Movies 101 next.
One woman's secret.
We both get into terrible trouble.
Is another woman's weapon.
I could gain everything by doing nothing.
One woman's mistake.
You're not going to tell. I want to help you.
Is another woman's opportunity.
I'm forever in my debt.
Notes on a Scandal is a triumph of scalding intensity. Watching Judi Dench and Cate Blanchett is astonishing. And the National Board of Review hails it one of the best pictures of the year. Notes on a Scandal. Rated R. Starts Wednesday, December 27th in select theaters.
Oh my God, how long has it been? Hi, it's my old buddy David. We went to high school together.
Honey, this is,
Has this ever happened to you? Exercise your mind with Brain Age. Train your brain in minutes a day. By completing a few challenging exercises and puzzles, you can help keep your mind sharp. Also, look for Big Brain Academy. Only for Nintendo DS. Rated E for everyone.
We started NetZero 8 years ago to provide the best internet access at the best price. We added Norton Antivirus, built the fastest surfing over dial-up at prices starting at $9.95 a month. Now you can try it risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee.
Your license says you're 55. You look 45. But your osteoarthritis pain makes you feel 105. You're only 43. But chronic back pain makes you feel 93. There's been a lot of news lately about some medications for chronic pain. But there are different options your doctor can prescribe, including some that work around the clock. To learn more, call 1-800-223-6787 or visit paininformationcenter.com. It is possible to have more active days and more restful nights. So call or visit paininformationcenter.com to find a personal pain profiler that can help you and your doctor evaluate your pain. You may be 57, but age is just a number.
From acclaimed director Stephen Frears.
Diana has died in Paris.
comes a story of our times.
A new member of the royal family will speak publicly about this.
Our leaders.
Your actions have damaged the monarchy.
Ourselves.
Something's happened. There's been a shift in values.
Director Stephen Frears does a superb job. A crowning achievement, and now a Golden Globe nominee for Best Picture of the Year. The Queen, rated PG-13, now playing.
The Range Rover Sport, with complimentary scheduled maintenance. Visit your local Land Rover Center.
So one of them bet me $5 I couldn't get your phone number.
$5, huh?
Yeah.
Couldn't we split it 50-50?
It could be arranged. It doesn't have to be your real number.
Oh, well, in that case, sure. You got a pen?
Great. Oh, no, I don't.
Well?
No, wait, just, wait. You know what, it'd really be funny if you gave me a hug.
You think?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, come here.
Oh, my God. Do you want to really freak him out?
So joining us now is Todd Field, the director of Little Children. Todd, Anthony Minghella was speaking at an Academy function the other day, and he said this about movies. He said there's a feeling that if it goes wrong for the characters in a movie, then it's true. And if it goes right, then it's a lie. The idea being that filmmakers sometimes feel impelled to have an unhappy ending in a film. Do you think that's true? And do you feel that Little Children has an unhappy ending?
I don't believe in happy endings. I think that happy endings are stories that aren't really over. I do believe in moments of grace. You know, the thing that struck me in reading Tom's book was he takes you to some very, very difficult areas in terms of examining these characters and these human beings, but he allows them the generosity of a moment of grace. And I think that that's true. I think that that does reflect our condition as human beings, but I don't believe in happy endings.
Did you read the script and the book, or did you read the book after the script? It's so funny.
So, I still feel like I'm in deep trouble forever having read the book.
You're okay, I pardon you.
Thank you.
Well, wouldn't you have wanted to read the book?
No, he didn't want me to read the book. And he said, he said, listen, I want to give you the script. It's based on a novel, but don't read the novel, okay? Don't read the novel.
What were you anxious about, her not reading the novel?
I know exactly what it was. I'm going to answer the question.
No, wait. No,
you were worried that I was going to pick things out of it and say, oh, we've got to have this, which I did also, by the way.
It's true, because, when you adapt a book, it's, especially a novel, as opposed to, say, a short story or novella, it's a bit like cramming an elephant into a telephone booth. And you are going to have to make changes. That's just, otherwise it would be the cinematic equivalent of books on tape. It would be a fairly thankless task for a filmmaker. And those choices were made with the novelist, and they were made for very, very specific reasons. And to go back and start mining something that had been tossed off.
Were you digging in that area?
Yes.
But also the thing is, when you get the actor and you want their imagination, right. In terms of how am I going to approach this character, the possibilities of things that they may think about that are informed purely from their own experience or people they know or acquaintances that they have, as opposed to going back and referencing the same starting point that you had when you were working on the script. So there's
You're casting a wider net.
I mean, and I have to be honest, the only way in which really reading the book for me helped was that because of being a British actor, it gave me so much a sense of the environment and the community, and that was a very important backdrop actually for me. When we first met, I was in the middle of doing All the King's Men, and we met this little office that I had at the time here in LA in Santa Monica. And Todd walked in, and I had my copy of the novel, All the King's Men.
It was
Which
just
was covered in, you know...
Post-its and... I mean, it had... She had...
See why he's intimidated by
No,
that.
she just... This thing was this... she created this, you know, document, the substantial document. I mean, you had to admire it, you know, and I walked in and I said, she was on the floor in her stocking feet, and she was down there, and she was just, you know, and she got, oh, hi, and I said, have you just started filming? And she said, oh, no, it's a very small part. I only have a couple of days left. I said, oh, well, what are you doing? And she said, there's just something I've missed, you know. And that was a very, actually, you know, that was a very accurate first impression, which is, you know, Kate is the kind of actor who refuses to ignore any possibility.
I've seen you express some attitudes about the character of Sarah, and you felt strongly that it is a good idea that it's not a sympathetic character. Why did you feel that?
Because Sarah's an incredibly complex woman, but at the same time, she was this extraordinary combination of both weakness, really extreme weakness, and strength. And I just had never seen those two things paired together in such an interesting way. I mean, the woman that she is at the end of the film is just a totally different person to the one she is at the beginning.
But if I had met Sarah at a dinner party, I would be critical of her a bit. Not very nice to her.
No, I would have absolutely. If I had been sat next to her at a dinner party, I would have talked to her for 5 minutes and thought, you know what, I'm going to sit over there. But I think that, you know, there's a reason why she does everything that she does in the film. And I understood that person. I understood those reasons. I understood who she was and what she had gone through in her life, and perhaps what she had thought she was going to be as a woman, and the life she had hoped to lead is not this one.
And you were reflected in the scene in the bathroom, which I think really captured me. It was just a single shot, you're standing in front of the mirror, your daughter is knocking on the door.
Yeah.
What spoke to me so eloquently in the film were those quiet moments, those looks, rather than just the dialogue.
To me, that moment in particular that you mentioned was one that when I read it, I was like, oh, it's just so great, because it's very, very childlike. It's almost like, you know, a girl or a boy, you know, when you lose your virginity, you know, the first thing you do is you look at yourself in the mirror to see if you look any different. Do you know what I mean? And you feel like, oh my God, am I walking differently? Am I? Can everybody tell?
Does it show?
Does it show? You know? And Sarah was like that. You know, she had not experienced anything like this in her life. She was the ugly duckling at the school dance who was in the wrong clothes with the wrong shoes and did not get to dance with the cute guy. You know, and in many ways, I was also that girl too. So I was able to really relate to her. Yeah, very much so.
So Kate, the inevitable dumb question: front of the boat, Leo. How many takes? I always wondered how many.
Well, it wasn't the number of takes; it was the number of times we actually had to do that sequence, which was all for reasons that I didn't entirely understand, to do with, you know, CGI and boats moving and blue screens and green screens and purple screens and, you know, different types of makeup, but it was just completely bizarre. And we were always waiting to shoot it because Jim Cameron wanted the sky to be a certain colour and the sun to be doing this, and, you know, all things that, you know, perfectly valid reasons. He wanted it to be a perfect moment. We kept sort of waiting, and, you know, on the call sheet it would say, you know, weather permitting, we might try and do Jack and Rose kiss on the boat deck. And so Leo and I would kind of prepare ourselves for this moment, and it just kept not happening, and suddenly it was like, okay, what now? Oh, okay, so stop changing that costume and quickly put the other one back on and run, because the light's going, and, you know, hurled up there, climbed up this ladder, and I turned to Leo and I just said, you had onion, didn't you? You did the thing we promised we weren't going to do, and you've done it. And he just went, and I just thought, okay.
But that is the generation's most memorable film moment. You know, it's the signature moment of cinema of that particular generation, with or without the onion. Guys, you're wonderful to come in and talk to us about this, and we wish you the best of luck with the picture.
Thank you.
And your future pictures.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thanks.
my grandfather was also a dentist on the side, and there are rooms in that house that are still referred to as the waiting room and the surgery. And it was also the room, before it became my uncle's room, where my grandfather used to make the teeth. So this was my brother's bedroom, and I would just say to him, Joss, this is freaky in here. How can you know, why would you want to sleep in this room? But we used to sneak into that bedroom. It was just sort of mysterious and fabulous and sort of slightly glamorous. And my grandfather, I never met my grandfather, I never knew him. So, anyway, it's interesting stories.
We have exclusive interviews with Hollywood's
Show with Jay Leno, featuring Kevin Eubanks.